I'm Maya Harrison, and this is VCU InSight. Vaccines are no longer required for students at VCU. As InSight's Jessica Johnson explains, the change comes shortly after the university ended the mandate for faculty and staff.
No one here at VCU is required to be vaccinated, at least not anymore. Some students I talked to are getting worried. VCU student Julia says she is vaccinated.
I was refreshing the CVS website every morning to get it as soon as I can.
Along with 95% of the students here on campus, even though as of February 1st, it is no longer required.
I think it's a very poor decision on behalf of the university, but I also know it has to do with our recent government elects.
In January, new Governor Glenn Youngkin rolled back the vaccine requirements for state workers. As a public university, that meant vaccines were no longer required for faculty and staff. The change for students came a few weeks later when the state attorney general issued a legal opinion saying he doesn't think current Virginia law supports the mandate for students. Some students say the change in the policy happened too fast.
Why remove a safety measure when it's something that's been proven to be safe? I think that instead of ending the mandate, they should have provided more resources to kind of change the minds of people who wouldn't get it.
Masks are still required indoors on campus, as well as outdoor events involving more than 50 people. There are vending machines around campus with KN95 masks, along with hand sanitizer and wipes. Right now, there are about 160 active cases on campus. For VCU InSight, I'm Jessica Johnson.
The rollback of the vaccine mandate for students is different from the rollback for the faculty and staff. As Taylor Harris explains, the change for students is specifically because of a legal opinion issued by the state attorney general.
Virginia's new Attorney General, Jason Miyares, issued an official opinion where he laid out the case that universities cannot legally require the COVID-19 vaccine. Here's what he said. Public universities cannot require the COVID-19 vaccine and booster shots for students unless the Commonwealth's legislature includes it among required immunizations for higher education institutions. State law currently says universities can require vaccines for things like measles, mumps, and meningitis. I talked to legal expert William Oglesby, who says that the Attorney General's statement is just an opinion and isn't binding.
It's important to keep in mind that this is an advisory opinion. It is not necessarily binding on the universities, although VCU has decided to comply with the opinion of the Attorney General and go along with that.
Other public universities in the state have also dropped their mandate, including Virginia Tech, UVA, and George Mason. For VCU InSight, I'm Taylor Harris.
Let's take a look at vaccination rates and COVID-19 numbers here in Richmond. From the Virginia Department of Health, 63% of adults in Richmond City are fully vaccinated, and about 33% of adults in the city have had a booster dose. To see how the Richmond area is doing in terms of cases of COVID, let's take a look at the 7-day average. Right now, there's about 100 new cases being reported a day. To compare, a month ago, there were around 470 new cases reported in Richmond every day. The American Red Cross says the country is experiencing the worst blood shortage in over a decade. Samantha McGranahan went to the American Red Cross in Richmond to find out what you can do to help.
If you have donated blood in the past, you've probably gotten a ton of phone calls from the Red Cross. The U.S. is experiencing a nationwide blood crisis and is in desperate need of donors. According to a press release, the Red Cross had a 10% decline in donations since the beginning of the pandemic. New COVID-19 variants, drive cancellations, and limited staffing have been only some of the challenges they've faced. The Red Cross provides 40% of the nation's blood supply. As of now, all blood types are needed. You do not need to be vaccinated against COVID to donate, but the Red Cross may ask for your vaccine information when you come to donate. And this month, anyone who does give blood will receive a $10 gift card from Amazon. You can find a drive near you at redcross.org. For VCU InSight, I'm Samantha McGranahan.
Virginia lawmakers are meeting right now in their annual session that runs from January through mid-March. We have 2 reports on legislation that may eventually become law. First, here's Kira Riscona.
Last year, the General Assembly passed bills moving towards cleaner transportation and more renewable resources, but under new leadership, some major changes are in the works. Bills have been introduced this session to repeal provisions made last year. If passed, Senate Bill 532 would repeal the Clean Energy and Community Flood Preparedness Act and direct the Department of Environmental Quality to suspend the state's participation in regional greenhouse gas initiatives. That bill has not yet moved past its assigned subcommittee. Additionally, Senate Democrats are trying to block Governor Youngkin's nomination of Andrew Wheeler for Secretary of Natural Resources. Wheeler was head of the EPA under the Trump administration. Wheeler's chance at a cabinet seat isn't dead yet, but only if he can secure the vote of just one Senate Democrat. Reporting for VCU InSight, I'm Kira Ascona.
Another big issue on the agenda, education. Amber Towns reports from the Capitol.
We're a third of the way into the 2022 General Assembly session. One of the big topics has been education. There are definitely some major differences in how Republicans and Democrats want to help Virginia schools, but one bill has some bipartisan support in addressing literacy rates in elementary schools. House Bill 319, Virginia Literacy Act, proposes several changes relating to early student literacy. In particular, the bill would beef up some of the requirements for teachers hoping to specialize in reading literacy, require local school districts to establish a literacy plan, and part of the plan would need to include having a reading specialist on staff to oversee the program. A House subcommittee is currently reviewing this bill. If passed by the General Assembly and okayed by the governor, this bill will go into effect in 2024. I'm Amber Towns, live from the Capitol, reporting for VCU InSight.
It's February, which means March is right around the corner, and that means March Madness. Max Tabor has an update on the Rams season so far.
Crazy games the past few weeks, and it's not going to change anytime soon. We are in for one intense year of VCU basketball. VCU had a rocky start to the season, starting out the season taking 4th in the Battle for Atlantis tournament, going against top-ranked teams throughout the country. VCU has been having to show teeth to make sure their opponents in the A10 know they're still here to take it all. Recently, VCU has taken A10's top seed, Davidson, suffering a 63-61 loss. Yet no more than a week later, in a rematch between the two teams, VCU snatches the win in another 2-point game, taking it 70-68. VCU takes on George Mason Saturday at 4 p.m. For VCU InSight, I'm Maxwell Tabor.
It's Black History Month, and InSight Shamor Adams highlights a Black-owned business close to campus.
Rotate is Black-owned, and it's right here on Broad Street, and it has everything ranging from sneakers to clothes. Located on the corner of West Broad Street and Monroe, Rotate is a homegrown streetwear shop that sells vintage t-shirts, sneakers, hats, and much more. Brian Iwumadi is the co-owner of Rotate. Him and his brother Derek kick-started their adventure into the retail business in college.
My brother and I we attended VCU. We had a hobby, and we were just buying and selling sneakers and clothes. And then one of our boys brought up the business aspect. We have sneakers, clothes, hype items, accessories, all the swag, glue that you want. But most importantly, we throw events and we're a family.
Iwumai says being Black-owned distinguishes Rotate from other similar shops because of their diverse staff. Reporting from Richmond, Virginia, I am Shamor Adams.